Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome online to International Trade 101 with Elom. And in the next minute, I will be starting our presentation. And the whole idea for this presentation is to give people an idea of what to expect when they want to go into international trade. And we will be looking into the well, it's not going to be academic in any way. It's going to be purely practical, as much information as possible, still within 25 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, we are starting with our program now. And I want to welcome everyone who is joining me for Opportunities in Ghana. I'm very grateful that you are here, and I hope that you will be able to learn something within the next 25 minutes. And you are most welcome to drop your questions and your suggestions here. Questions and comments. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, hi everyone. So, I'm happy to be here with you. And in today's presentation, I will be talking about international trade. Trade is something that has been with us forever. It's been with us for as long as mankind can remember. And we have been doing a lot of trade as a country, as individuals. And because of COVID-19, a lot of people have thought of, starting something on their own. Now, people can buy from Ghana and sell to other people in Ghana. Others go to Togo and buy and sell in Ghana. People go to Nigeria to buy and sell in Ghana. There are people from different countries on my platform, on my Facebook platform. So I'll try to speak for everyone, but my focus will be more on Ghana. If you have any questions, please do well to drop them there, and any comments as well. I tried as much as possible to prepare a presentation, something that will make it very quick and very interesting, that will keep my thoughts organized, and I hope that it's going to be of benefit to everyone else. Now, we will be looking into a number of issues, but it's going to be as quick as possible. And I'm trying to pull out the presentation now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opportunities in Ghana. I created this platform, which is International Trade 101, for a reason. I get a lot of questions from people about a supplier sent me an invoice and the supplier stated that it is FOB. What does it mean? A supplier stated that it's X works. What does it mean? And most of the times, these people are people who are now beginning business. They want to know what goes into costing. There are times when it becomes very confusing. I have been in that situation before, where it's so difficult to actually know what the cost of an item will be when it arrives in Ghana. At the same time, you have to price it, and if you are able to understand some of these things very quickly, when you are talking to a supplier anywhere in the world, you ask for those information ahead of time so that you can be able to price your items very well. Now, who will I be targeting during this session? I'm looking at people who are beginning to start their own businesses, they want to do something regarding buying and selling. They want to buy specifically from China. Since this is where I am, I want to focus on China. There may be other people who can focus on other parts of the world, like United States, or Japan, or Vietnam, or Singapore, or Malaysia, or Turkey. There are, the terrains are different. So I will speak for how things could look like China, and China being one of the biggest trading, hubs. So I'll also be targeting anyone who's considering buying materials for their personal project, or anyone seeking to understand what goes into trading, just for the sake of acquiring knowledge. Now, I will also be looking within my content. I'll be looking at what these XWorks prices are, FOB prices are, CIF prices are. I'll look into these things, and I'll try to answer the question, which of the pricing structures should I accept from a supplier? Okay, so first of all, let's understand what international trade is. First of all, trade comes about because someone has something which you want, and you have something the person wants. So in this case, you want to buy something, someone has something of quality, someone has something which has a good pricing, fits your budget, and you want to purchase it. So you give money in exchange for that thing. Okay, at higher levels, we talk about exchange of services, trading of services, but our focus for today is trading of goods, right? Now, to make it more complex, when you move beyond the borders of your country and then you want to buy from another country, it gets all complex. A lot of things come into play with all the risk factors as well. All right. And that is where understanding and getting a very good balance, is key. You need to have enough knowledge whilst you're doing your research to know what business to go into. You need to have enough knowledge to know what to ask, the supplier, so that you can give yourself enough margins for errors, and then still make good profit if you're doing business. And then if you are undertaking a personal project, you can be able to evaluate the real cost of the project very well and not be taken by surprise in any way. So we buy, and again, I'm focusing on China. Most people in Ghana, some buy from Turkey and other parts of the world, but most people buy from China, and most people go to some of these platforms that are operating in China. And some of these platforms, most people in Ghana don't know about these platforms, but these are some of the platforms that people actually go and source for products from. Top on the list is Alibaba Group, which has got so many other trading platforms underneath. There will be a time when I make room for explaining the various platforms that are available for people to buy things from China. But for now, I'm not going to go into details into what these platforms are all about. But these are some of the platforms some people would go and purchase things from. The downside to all of these platforms you see, apart from Alibaba, is that most of them are in China. So you will not be able to understand fully whatever you see there. Now, after you've identified that, okay, this is the platform I want to buy something from. Alibaba is mostly recommended, and AliExpress is mostly recommended because it's a cross-border, it's one of the few, if not the only two, AliExpress, Alibaba platforms allow for foreigners to trade easily because it's in English. The other platforms are all in Chinese, so you will not be able to understand. So now you've identified a supplier that you want to purchase things from on AliExpress or Alibaba, and you're excited about it. You've seen the price is very low. Now, first things first, let me send this caution out. Most of the times on AliExpress and Alibaba, the prices you see on the supplier's page are not the actual prices. So before we go and conclude that, oh, I saw this thing on AliExpress or Alibaba, it's so cheap, why is it so expensive here? Please, and please again, do well to communicate extensively with the supplier or the manufacturer. Make sure that you are very sure of what you're looking for and you ask them. There have been so many times, countless number of times, seen this so many times. You see something on AliExpress, Alibaba, and you want to really purchase it, you're ready, and then you start asking for details and you realize that it is not what they posted. Some of them don't update their website frequently, so what if the information you are seeing there is very outdated. So please take your time to question and to profile the supplier very well. I will do another session on how to identify good suppliers on AliExpress and Alibaba. And if you're looking for a manufacturer, how to identify a manufacturer and what questions to ask. I'm not going into that today. So we are looking at, you've identified a supplier on AliExpress, on Amazon China, or on 1688 or Alibaba, and you want to send the things by sea or by air and bring them home to sell to the consumer. Between buying the thing and sending it to the consumer, a lot of costs come into play. A lot of costs come into play, and it's unfortunate that many people do not know these costs. Some suppliers try to explain briefly, very briefly in their invoices that, oh, this is CIF Tema, or this is FOB Shanghai, or FOB Fujian, or FOB, or this is X Works. We don't pay attention. Most of the time, buyers don't pay attention to the description given in the invoices. And that is why I am stressing on these things, and I want us to focus on them. And whenever we receive invoices and it's not clearly stated, sometimes it's stated, but it's somewhere very little, you'll not be able to tell if it's FOB or CIF. And I want to be able to explain between buying online from a supplier, making payments. Making payments is another subject on its own. International traders 101 will be quite extensive. So between purchasing the thing to having it delivered, go on sea, ready to arrive in Ghana, or by air, ready to arrive in Ghana, a lot of costs come into play. And this is where I want to come in and explain to people what are some of the costs or the pricing structure that the supplier will make available to us. The pricing structure will let us know whether there are more expenses to be made or all the expenses we are going to make is what it is, So now, while the goods are in China, a supplier may quote X Works. Now, when a supplier quotes X Works, so it's for the price of the tiles you want to buy, or the price of the equipment you want to buy, is FOB X Works, and X Works basically means that the item has been produced by the factory or it's at the shop floor of the supplier. It is there with the supplier. The supplier is not responsible for moving the item from his store or from his factory or her factory to you anywhere in China or to you in Ghana. Okay, so the item stays on the factory floor, on the supplier's shop floor. He has sold the thing to you, you have paid him, the thing is lying there. That is X Works. He is not responsible for carrying it and putting it into the car and sending it to the shipper to send to you in Ghana. That is X Works. And that may sound very unattractive initially, but we will look into it, why this may be an option to choose sometimes. And the supplier may also quote FOB, free on board. Okay, free on board. Let me see if I can write this here. So the supplier may quote free on board. And what that means is that all the costs, apart from paying for the cost of the item, he is going to bear responsibility of moving the item from the factory and ensuring that the product is ready to be sent to Ghana either by air or by sea. So that means that every cost involved in moving the item from factory to ship or airport is going to be borne by the supplier. And so sounds quite interesting. And again, we will look at why this is quite interesting, because between the factory and the shipping company or the airline company, there are lots of costs. And if you don't have anyone who's acting as an agent on your behalf here in China, you might as well just tell the factory to do this for you. And there are quite a few, and there are quite, a lot of good agents, some of whom are on my Facebook page, and I'll be more than happy to interview them later on International Trade 101. And they are very good logistics companies. Some have been quite disappointing in the past, but again, they are very good logistics companies that will be able to help. So now there's a free on board, and there is also the CIF. And the CIF basically is cost of the item plus insurance, and then plus freight. So you're looking at CIF, which usually applies to sea cargo or shipping. So you have cost insurance, which means that the goods that you are sending, or the shipper is sending, or the supplier is sending, includes insurance. It has been insured by a Chinese firm. Now, the details of goods that are insured is also another subject on its own. I'm not an expert in the field of insuring goods from China, Ghana, that I can invite someone to share with us some of the policies we may want to consider when we are insuring goods or when we are sending goods which are quite heavy and of great value from China to Ghana. And it includes the freight as well. So these are the three price structures that or price models that a supplier or a manufacturer will share with us on the invoices, which we have to pay close attention to, right? So now when the supplier first of all says X works, I have explained, it does not include any costs, right? Apart from purchasing the item, you are done. I mean, there's no other cost to bear as a buyer. Now, beyond that, there is FOB, and that is where I'm talking about moving there are a lot of costs. From here to here, there are a lot of costs, and I'll try to list some of them. Now, there is the booking fee. Well, before there is even booking fee, that is when the items are in the warehouse. Now, the thing is with the factory here. So let's say the factory is in Suzhou. Suzhou is a city in Jiangsu province, and the items have to be moved all the way to Guangzhou. You have paid X works. Now, X works, there has to be a delivery company, local delivery company, that will move the items from Suzhou to maybe Guangzhou or Shanghai. So this is Shanghai or Guangzhou, where the warehouse is and where the forwarder is and where your things will be moved to Ghana. There is cost in that part, you understand? And that cost is also covered by the FOB. So your local delivery costs are covered by FOB. So once a supplier quotes FOB, it means that moving the item from factory to your shipper, whoever is going to send the things to you in Ghana, is covered, which is great. And beyond that, when the items are moved and it gets to the warehouse, especially for sea cargo, there is something we call the warehouse entry fee. This is not a huge cost, but if your items are just a few, let's assume that I buy, this is like a weighing scale, right? I buy just about 50 of these weighing scales, and I send them to the warehouse. the cost of warehouse entry fee is the same as when I buy 1,000 of these scales. So, and that is why a lot of times most suppliers like to deal with minimum orders. Because when they do minimum orders of say 5,000, 100, 200, 500, some of these costs are just insignificant. But when you do a very small order, these costs begin to make the item look expensive. And then the customer is hurt and disappointed that, oh, the thing costs only 10 Ghana cedis. How come all the other costs make it look like it costs maybe 30 Ghana cedis? So there's a warehouse entry fee, and also there is the warehouse handling fee. This is all covered in the FOB if a supplier quotes FOB for you. Okay, so he pays for the warehouse entry fee on your behalf. He quotes the warehouse handling fee on your behalf. And there is also, in preparing the goods for shipping, there is also the customs fee that have to be paid. There is also the manifest fee, documentation. There's a fee for documentation of the goods that are going to leave. There is a terminal handling fee. There are, on top of my head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 9 different fees that you pay to be able to get the item to leave China. And when a supplier quotes FOB, he includes all of these fees into the pricing. So he may quote an item as 10 Ghana cedis or 20 Ghana cedis, but he will quote FOB, X works. So X works may be 20 Ghana cedis equivalent, and then the FOB will look like 35 Ghana. So the item, and that is not the full cost. You have not yet factored in the cost of shipping the item. So I'm trying to explain these things because many times people see some of these prices online and they feel like, oh, the item is so expensive. I mean, it just costs $10 online. Why is it costing about $50 when it arrives in Ghana? And economies of scale is very important in this, situation. So if you want to really trade well China and make sure that you beat the market, in terms of pricing, especially if you want to buy and sell, then you have to be looking at volumes. And that is what our Makola women are doing very well, extremely well. Sometimes what they do is that instead of buying alone, because they are in groups, they buy with other people. And these people come, a representative comes to China and buy. So they're able to load a container, a 40-footer container, and bring items. And when the items are brought to Ghana, based on how much you contributed, obviously, you get your item. So the Makola women know how to trade with Chinese, and how to get things at the lowest price. Unfortunately, when we are starting businesses as young people, we like to start by ourselves, and we feel like we've identified a nice product, we want to sell it, and then we only buy a few, which costs so much. The other costs that go with it become so much and makes the item quite expensive. So I've mentioned local delivery costs, which are part of FOB. I've mentioned warehouse entry fee. I've mentioned warehouse handling fee. There is the manifest fee. There is the customs fee. There is the seal that is put, especially if you're doing a container load, you pay for the seal. There's a verified gross mass fee, VGM fee. There is a terminal handling fee. There's the booking fee. And after doing all of this, now you talk about the shipping of the item by air or by sea. Now, if you want to ship the items by sea, so we have the air cargo, and then we have the sea shipping, right? Now, air is charged according to weight. Generally speaking, according to weight. Now, that does not mean that if you buy an item that is very light, but very, occupies a lot of volume, you will still be charged by weight. Now, it's either by weight or by volume, whichever one is bigger for the shipping company. So you may buy a very huge teddy bear, which obviously just has cotton in them and don't weigh too much. And because you cannot really fold the teddy bear into a very small thing, it looks very huge and probably weighs about 5 kg. Now, the volume of the teddy bear is probably going to make the item have a volumetric weight of about 10 kg or 15 kg. So the shipper will charge you according to the volumetric weight and not the actual weight of the item. So yes, there are cases where you buy something when the thing looks light, but it occupies a lot of space, and they will charge you according to the space or the volume that it occupies. So that is the thing with air cargo. There are costs. I will not go too much into the costs of that because again, that is a whole 25-minute session on its own. And there is the sea cargo. The sea cargo is charged according to volume, cubic meters, 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, 1 meter length, 1 meter breadth, 1 meter height. And there are, well, price ranges that you can look at when it comes to how do we call it, when it comes to costing for sending goods by sea. And if you find the right agent, you will be able to get a very good price for sending goods by sea. So having said all of these, XWorks, FOB, CIF, which pricing structure and model should I take? You know, so does it, Benjamin Chenti says, so does it mean FOB is costly than XWorks? Yes, the price of FOB is higher. It's not costly. You know, the price of FOB is higher, and for a good reason. So I'm going to explain a little bit. Yes, thank you very much. So the XWorks, FOB, CIF, which one is better? First of all, XWorks. The supplier has quoted XWorks and he tells you, okay, you've paid for the item, you've transferred the money to the supplier, and he tells you, okay, I'm done. You have not achieved your purpose because the purpose is to purchase the item and have it received in Ghana. Now, under what conditions should you pay XWorks? There are some suppliers who would charge you a lot of money to move the item from their factory to your shipper. They may not make a lot of money on the item they've sold to you, but they will want to make a lot of money on the shipping of the item. And I've seen scenarios like that before. So when you have a local person, a local agent in China, my company offers that service, and there are other people who also offer that service. I may want to tag them here as well. That boy, please, if you are watching, please tag yourself, you know, and there are other people who can also offer that service. So if you have a local agent here in China, what they will do is that they will communicate to the supplier on your behalf to receive the goods in China here. So your agent will let you know that, all right, moving the item from the warehouse or from the manufacturer's place to my place will probably cost you about 30 Ghana cedis, 40 Ghana cedis, but you will pay all of that when you're ready to pay for the shipping. You know, and that's the convenience, you know, that comes with having an agent here in China who will handle the moving of the goods for you, you know. And so you want to first of all, when you're talking to the supplier, ask him for XWorks prices, ask for 2 invoices, or sometimes even 3. Ask for XWorks prices, ask for FOB prices, and then ask for CIF invoices. So ask for 3 invoices. And let them clearly state that this is the cost of the item, this is the FOB, and then this is CIF. That will help you to make a very good decision. So where should you go for FOB? FOB is when you don't have any agent here in China who can handle all the processes for you. Now, I will usually encourage, if you see, the return policies on purchasing goods online is quite weak. You are buying something from China that will take you quite a long time to receive in Ghana or any part of Africa. I will not advise that you go for FOB immediately. Now, you can, or you go for CIF immediately. If you have an agent who is capable of inspecting the goods on your behalf, it will be great to let the agent receive the items and inspect that these are the items that I actually paid for. and let the agent have a full description of all the items that you have told the supplier that you want to purchase. I've seen scenarios where, if it comes to maybe equipment, plants and equipment, a supplier will give you different pictures. The items will come to you in Ghana and it's a different item altogether. And I'm pretty sure there are some people who are watching me now who have experienced this. So I will not advise that you do FOB or CIF immediately. Let the items go to an agent here in China, who will inspect the items on your behalf. And obviously that comes with a fee. And don't be too, tight-fisted to pay a fee. No one overcharges these fees. They are reasonable fees. People receive items on your behalf, they repackage them, they inspect them, repackage them in such a way that they can be sent. I've had situations where suppliers sent items directly from the factory to the shipper, and by the time the items reached the shipper, the boxes had torn. Some of the items got lost. So you want to find an agent in China who receive items on your behalf, and then will inspect the items and will repackage the items in such a way that they are safe and worthy of shipping. And so I would quite encourage that whilst you're discussing Ex Works with a supplier, also be talking to an agent here in China who will also be in the picture and be talking to the supplier or the manufacturer as well. On that note, CIF, well, I will not recommend CIF immediately. Work with an agent. Yeah, you can just request for the prices just to compare, so that when the agent gives you a price, you can be able to negotiate. You understand? So Ex Works initially looks very unattractive. That, the factory leaves all the work of sending the items in your hands as a buyer, but then you, the buyer, should never make a purchase in China without the help of an agent. You are shooting yourself in your own foot. There may be others who have tried it before, but they will genuinely share their experiences with you that it did not go too well. And so on that note, I'm ready to welcome questions. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to share them with me. And I hope this was worth your while. And you can share this with as many people as possible. You can send me a DM directly. Need any further information. If you want to have an agent, there are some things that I have mastery over. I can easily look at and tell you that there's something wrong with it. I am not a jack of all trades when it comes to trading. There are people who have better understanding of certain products, which I'll be more than happy to recommend anyone who contacts me. It may be for suits, maybe for something else. I am not an expert in purchasing of suits or wedding gowns and things like that. No, that's not my strength. So if you're looking for things like that, there are people I know who I can recommend you to. And if you're looking for equipment and things like that, well, that's my strength. If you're looking for electronics, that is the strength of other people. So please do well to get in touch with us. And thank you very much for your time. I am most grateful that you made the time to be with me. If you have any questions, please drop them and I'll be more than happy to answer them all at the right time. Thank you very much. And Benjamin, thank you.